Senator Wright.
Yes, thank you. Tonight I'd like to share some moving and fascinating accounts I've been privileged to hear about peer work and discuss the role and value of this unique style of work in assisting people who are recovering from mental ill health. To quote from one peer worker I met, "We have the tools through our experience to support others who are suffering." In the mental health arena, a peer worker is a person who has lived experience of mental illness. Peer workers draw on knowledge and skills from their own experiences to help and support others who are on a similar journey. So an essential element of a peer worker's job description is that they have experienced mental illness. But other aspects of their jobs and the skills they'll need will vary depending on the role that they're carrying out. Over recent weeks, I've met with peer workers from a range of organisations in South Australia, including Mind Australia, NEAMI, Centrecare and the Mental Illness Fellowship of South Australia. I also met with Sally Hascard and Shandy Arledge, who are conducting an 18-month project for the Mental Health Coalition of South Australia to support the development and growth of the lived experience workforce in the non-governmental mental health sector. Each of these meetings increased my understanding of the power and the potential of peer work, and I came to understand what a variety of roles they may perform. I heard about one-on-one personalised support for someone embarking on a recovering journey, such as the FAMS program officers, the Peer Helpers and Mentors program offers, or peer workers running support groups offering education, information and inspiration. I also heard about peer workers accompanying people to employment agencies and job interviews, offering immediate support in the emergency departments of hospitals, and working in clinical settings to help educate and inform their colleagues and to provide a bridge between consumer and clinician. Why is peer work so powerful? Because clearly it is. Without exception, every person I met loved their work and lit up as they discussed their potential to help others. For some, it's as simple as the fact that they get the experience of mental illness, and this is so important for the people that they work with. Through their own experience, they can convey acceptance, understanding and empathy. I commonly heard that peer work dramatically undercuts stigma and changes the usual power imbalance experienced by people living with mental illness, from the helpless or the helped and the helper to one person walking alongside another, offering support and acceptance from a point of common understanding. Anne expressed to me this as being able to relate to people on the same level. She described an unspoken knowing, a conversation that goes, "You get it," the answer, "Yes," and no more needs to be said. I think those of us who haven't experienced the challenges or stigma associated with mental illness can't imagine what a relief it must be to be working with someone who just gets it. Robin told me that peer work can yield amazing results because the client knows you know what it's like and they also know you have their back. A vital aspect of peer work is the modelling and the hope it conveys when a person who has experienced a significant mental illness is able to work, function and effectively assist others. Mark, a peer worker at NEAMI, told me that his work shows that living with a mental illness and living a full life is possible. Another worker told me they can encourage their clients to think beyond their current circumstances, especially if they're just starting out on their recovery. He said they can, and I quote, "dare to dream. There's more to life than what they're experiencing." I heard how it's very important for peer workers to be there for people right at the start of their recovery journey and to help them take their first steps. They know the fundamental question for many people will be, am I ever going to get better? And through their work, some peer workers told me they can also show that failure can be okay, that there are various options or pathways to get where a person wants to go, that they, by doing what they're doing, can model, "I don't feel very comfortable with this today, but it's okay, it won't kill me." In my meetings, I was curious about the idea of disclosure. It became clear to me that it's one of the most powerful tools available to a peer worker, the sharing of personal experience. But important questions arise about when to do it, how to know if it's right, and what boundaries need to be in place. Without exception, I was impressed by the emotional intelligence and wisdom of the peer workers I met with who have to constantly negotiate this balancing process. So Nina has an ethic of sharing personal information when it's purposeful. Another worker told me, if someone asks you a question, it's about being honest with them. Another told me, it's about them and you're guided by them. Some will welcome your experiences, but it's not about imposing your experience onto someone else. Julie has a clear practice of using her lived experience in an intentional way, clear that it must only be when it will assist the other person. And as well as benefiting their clients, it's clear that peer work is also valuable for the workers. For some, it gives some meaning to their previously and ongoing challenging experiences and can transform pain into good. Damien told me that by sharing a dark past with others, it helps to shed a light on those areas. I was very moved when he told me I can use that to find out what helps to make a person's sun to shine. There's also mounting and compelling evidence to show the value of peer work as a pathway for the workers into growth, education and further employment. Being paid for a job well done offers tangible and practical affirmation that painful life experiences can have a value, contributing to a person's capacity to offer something worthwhile. Across Australia and internationally, the role of peer work is coming to be recognised and best practices developed, with protocols around the integration of peer workers into workplaces, training at TAFE, supervision, qualifications, conditions, and appropriate ways of making sure that the value of peer workers' experience is understood and embraced by workplaces. I believe that it's absolutely crucial that clinicians and other mental health practitioners embrace the amazing opportunities that peer work offers. And I also believe that it must be supported by government, willing to assist with appropriate training and qualification and then funding to ensure that peer workers are able to be working their magic in the many areas where they can contribute a real value in terms of the mental health sector, and particularly the non-government sector, but also in areas like emergency departments of hospitals and as a bridge between clinicians and clients. So I'm very grateful to the many peer workers who were willing to meet with me and share with me their insights, their stories, their wisdom. All of them had travelled a challenging path, with experiences of mental ill health ranging from schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, from anxiety, depression, eating disorders, or other conditions that had rocked their well-being and their sense of the world. But without exception, I could see that through their employment, they were able to make a positive of the attributes that they all had in common and contribute to the well-being of others: emotional intelligence, compassion and wisdom. So thank you to those people for your willingness to contribute and give back to those experiencing mental ill health, and for sharing your insights and very personal experiences with me. I think it's really important that you understand that the work you do and that peer workers do throughout Australia is valuable and absolutely makes a difference.